They're popular, but they can be a little dangerous. A look at the dangers of scooters and meet the first woman to lead the cadets at the Citadel. Plus, we are cooking up a storm with meteorologist Jacob Dickey. Mid-morning starts right now.
WCBI's Mid-Morning with Aundrea, breaking away from your everyday.
Good morning, everybody. Millions of people in the United States are coping with pain every single day. Now, a new study suggests that chronic pain could be a risk factor for suicide. Chris Martinez reports.
Tom Norris has lived with chronic pain for 30 years. Radiation during cancer treatment left him with constant pain in his leg, hip, and spine, making even short walks very difficult.
There's really nothing they can do to, quote, make me well. So all I can do now is deal with it.
More than 25 million adults are living with pain in the U.S. Now a new study in the Annals of Internal Medicine finds chronic pain may be a big contributor to suicide.
We do know that individuals with pain are more likely to suffer from depression, anxiety, to overuse or misuse substances. It's particularly important to ask about suicide and do a comprehensive suicide risk assessment.
The study looked at people who died by suicide in 18 states and found nearly 9% had documented chronic pain. 51% had opioids in their system when they died. Pain management specialist Dr. Joseph Chu says it's important to talk to patients about the mental effects of their pain.
Giving them strategies, alternative tools, or different modalities to live with their condition.
Tom used a prescribed opioid medication for nearly a decade to manage his pain, but now relies on other alternatives, including epidural treatments. He also leads support groups to help others like him.
I've asked, who has thought of suicide somewhere in their journey? And all of us raised our hands.
He says the battle to manage pain is as much a mental fight as it is physical. Chris Martinez, CBS News, Los Angeles.
And most of the patients in the study suffered with back pain, cancer pain, and arthritis. Well, doctors report an alarming rise in injuries related to electric scooters amid a nationwide spike in their popularity. Renters can use an app on their phone to rent the devices from companies like Bird, Lime, and Skip. But as we can see in this report, the increase in ridership is leading to a rise in emergency room visits.
The brakes were completely gone.
Lisa Beardsley says she suffered torn ligaments and a hairline fracture in her arm when she was forced to jump off what she says was a malfunctioning Bird scooter about 2 months ago.
When I landed, I slid about 5 feet, and the Bird landed on top of me.
From California to Texas to Washington, D.C., officials have been scrambling to control the rising use of electric scooters. And now doctors say they're seeing an uptick in injuries.
I think part of it is inexperience. People are not used to riding these.
This urgent care facility in Santa Monica, California, has treated hundreds of scooter injuries.
If I see only one a day, that's kind of the norm. If I don't see one on a day, I'm really surprised.
UCLA's medical center in Santa Monica started counting scooter injuries in July. There were 60 that month, and they estimate 75 in August. Everything from wrist and leg fractures to major head injuries. Beardsley says her injuries from the faulty brakes might require surgery. She's planning to file a lawsuit. Bird says it does daily safety inspections and has a fleet of what the company calls bird watchers.
So the bird watchers go around every day and they scan every single bird, determining is it in a good safety state or not. If it's not, they'll take it off the road. Safety is our top priority.
But it's not just riders getting hurt.
It was like I was walking down the pier and I got hit by a motor vehicle.
Dancing Dave Peterson is a street performer. He says he lost months of work and had to simplify his act after a man on a scooter hit him from behind and left.
I have a broken arm here and my right bicep was actually severed. I'm angry.
Bird says it's updating its app so that people can report irresponsible riders. And they tell every rider to wear a helmet and recommend riding in bike lanes. Mireya Villarreal, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Well, if you think teenagers spend far too much time texting and not enough time talking, you're not too far off. According to a new study, Common Sense Media reveals that teenagers prefer texting with their friends rather than talking face-to-face. The study found that 35% of those surveyed prefer to communicate via text. That's compared to 32% who would rather talk face-to-face. Compare those results to 2012, when 49% of those polled said their favorite way to communicate was talking. That was compared to 33% who liked to text. The texting jump may be due to the fact that teenagers are more active on social media than ever. 89% of teenagers say they have a smartphone, and that's more than double the number back in 2012. What do you prefer, texting or talking? I'm just curious. All right, when we come back, the road less traveled. Mid-morning, we'll be right back. Welcome back. This week, America remembers the heroes from the 9/11 terrorist attacks nearly 2 decades ago. Sarah Zorn was just a small child back then, but her future is full of service, the kind of service people who dedicate their lives to helping others. Zorn is the first woman to lead the corps of more than 2,300 cadets at the Citadel. Here's her story.
My full title is Cadet Colonel Sarah Zorn, Regimental Commander of the South Carolina Corps Cadets.
And no woman in the history of the Citadel, the 175 years, has ever held that title.
No, ma'am.
Cadet Command Sergeant Major Sarah Zorn.
Sarah Zorn might be a historical first, but in her mind, what's first are her fellow cadets.
I didn't want to do it because I wanted to be this shatter of glass ceilings or things like that. I wanted to provide the best opportunity to leave the Corps better for tomorrow.
She grew up in a small South Carolina town, in a give the shirt off your back kind of household. The selflessness and determination she developed carried her to the Citadel.
I'm proud to have that title, and I'm humbled to have that title, but I always try to keep in the back of my mind that it's not about what I am, it's about what I do. Service to me is selfless.
I know you've used the word being a servant leader. What does that mean?
To be a servant leader is to put others' needs before your own. I personally believe that servant leadership is the only successful leadership, because no matter your decision, you are making decisions as a leader on behalf of others.
It's that very kind of focus that's earned Zorn respect.
Her drive and grace and elegance has just been inspirational to anybody on this campus.
But she did face some initial resistance from the long gray line.
There was a small amount of cadets who were questioning what she would do simply because she was a woman, not because of any of her merit. But I think as we've progressed throughout, from last spring till now, more and more people have gotten behind her.
And yet, Zorn's rise to top cadet is remarkable. Given that a little more than 20 years ago, she wouldn't have even been welcome in the Corps.
In South Carolina, this is the day Shannon Faulkner says she has been waiting for.
After a legal battle, Shannon Faulkner won the right to become the first woman to attend the Citadel. She left after 5 days.
Are women treated equally here?
Yes, I would definitely say so.
But that wasn't always the case at the Citadel.
No, it wasn't. There is a long and lengthy history of the struggles that women felt here. I feel like we've come 180 degrees from where we were 20 years ago.
And this is where you do a lot of your marching?
Yes, that's where we do a lot of our training throughout the day.
Each day begins at 5 a.m.
Put medical review in there.
with a full course load, regimental commander duties, and workouts sometimes twice a day. Zorn performs at the very top of the Corps in physical fitness.
You want to break the 90 degree.
And can do 65 push-ups in 2 minutes. More than 3 times the minimum for women.
So, swing. Wow.
And she has been training in karate since she was 10.
So do you have a black belt?
I do. I have 3.
You have how many?
3.
Martial arts, she says, teaches her patience and self-discipline.
Your sensei, your teacher, said that you are the most motivated person that he has ever met.
Motivation is a desire not to disappoint. You don't want to disappoint yourself because you realize what you're capable of.
Zorn gets her mental toughness from her mother, who died when Sarah was 16. She credits her mom, an Air Force veteran, for instilling in her a strong sense of patriotism.
What would she think of you being here at the Citadel?
She'd be immensely proud of me, immensely proud of me.
Everybody did an excellent job today, and I'm very proud of each and every one of you.
I hope to be a person of service, empathy, kindness, because I think those are some of the fundamental things that people need in this world right now. A little more leadership, a little more empathy and understanding.
All right, just ahead, local fishermen rather have quite the tale, and the pictures to prove it. We'll show you more of it when we come back. For the first time in NFL history, male dancers will be cheering on the sidelines. Of the 32 teams in the NFL, only 2 are featuring male dancers next to the females, the Los Angeles Rams and the New Orleans Saints. The change comes as the NFL faces criticism over how female cheerleaders are treated and paid. Jamie Yuccas met the men who will help the Rams get their fans revved up this season.
Napoleon Janice and Quentin Perrone are mastering all the right moves.
Had you ever thought that you would be one of the first male cheerleaders in the NFL?
No. For me and other guys, it just wasn't encouraged or talked about.
I've always been a little daredevil, not going to lie. But I think the bigger the risk, the bigger the reward.
The reward is a history-making turn, as the men are dancing the same routine traditionally performed by an all-female squad.
You still get giddy, it's crazy.
I was standing on the field, and I closed my eyes, and a breeze came by, and I heard the crowd roar, and I was like, ah.
The Los Angeles Rams tell us tryouts have always been open to everyone. But Quentin and Napoleon, both classically trained dancers, were the only men who ever showed up. And the ladies say the guys fit right in.
To have the first male cheerleaders officially on an NFL team, that's huge. Rams, we're making some moves.
The move toward gender inclusion comes after a season of lawsuits and complaints filed on behalf of NFL cheerleaders. 6 former Houston Texans cheerleaders claim they endured brutal working conditions.
We were bullied and we were body shamed for $7.25 an hour.
And a former Miami Dolphins cheerleader claims she was discriminated against based on her religion. Others are fighting double standards tied to their weight and wardrobe.
I felt humiliated and ashamed of my own body.
Sports writer Nancy Armour believes the time has come for teams to prove how much they value their cheer teams.
NFL teams have long said, oh, these are important members of our community, but the outfits and the roles that they have them play on Sundays haven't always reflected that. What better way to say, no, we are not trying to objectify our cheerleaders than by having men and women do it?
I quickly just glanced at Twitter, and there are people that think that you guys shouldn't be out there, that it should be the girls.
Nothing you can tell me that is going to hurt because I have the support from my friends, family, and my team. That's all I need.
The guys are downplaying their groundbreaking. But Quentin, who teaches dance, is proud to be making room on the sidelines for a new generation of cheerleaders.
For me to be able to inspire my kids and say that, honestly, you can really do anything.
Jamie Yuccas, Los Angeles.
All right, here's a different sport, not quite as controversial. Alligator hunting. Well, it may be for some people. Well, some Monroe County men landed a whopper last weekend, a more than 12-foot long gator weighing in at over 600 pounds. Our Quentin Smith talked to the men about their big catch, and they say it was no easy task.
Take a look at this. An enormous 12-foot-long alligator caught by Bubba McKinley's Ben Smith and his 5-year-old son, Austin.
When I first realized that it was an alligator and seen the size of its head, I knew it was enormous.
The big catch happened this past Saturday night. The trio loaded up their gear, heading to the 10-Tom waterway in Columbus, eager to catch a gator. But never did they think they'd make a discovery this gigantic. At first glance, they thought the alligator was a log because of how long it was. But then they quickly realized it was a reptile.
We turned the boat around and went back, and he spotted it with the spotlight. and we got back close enough to it to throw hooks at it, and of course we both missed it the first go around, and it went under. We waited and waited and waited, and it come back up. We got to throw at it again and hooked it the second go around, and the fight was on. He went to the bottom, and we commenced to throw lines out, try to get them up off the bottom, get them caught so we could get them tagged.
With an animal of that size, you can imagine it wasn't going out without a fight. The gator drove the boats over 70 yards, desperately trying to get away.
It took probably 15 minutes or so before he quit running and started rolling, doing like a death roll. And once he done that, he broke my line, and I had to get a hand line and got another hook in him, and we fought him for a little while more until we finally got him to the boat where we could start trying to secure him to the boat to keep him from fighting.
After wrestling with the 12-foot-long alligator for hours, the men finally had it captured. But there was still one problem. The gator was too big for the boat. So the men called in the game warden for some assistance in order for them to properly tag the animal.
You have to tag the animal before you can remove it. And knowing we were going to have to drag it back to the boat ramp in the water, we didn't want to put a tag on it and take a chance of losing the tag.
Again, that was our Quentin Smith reporting. The alligator has since been taken to a shop in Becker and is being processed. And the men also told Quentin that their friends caught an alligator a night or so ago in the Ten-Tom waterway as well. And we want to point out that alligator hunting season now is officially over. All right, when we come back, Jacob is here with his Crockpot, a fall treat just ahead on Mid-Morning.
Storm is brought to you by Kroger. Fresh food, low prices.
All right, we're back, everyone. You were probably pleasantly surprised, as I was earlier this week, when we got a taste of fall. The temperatures were a little cooler, and it felt great. Well, meteorologist Jacob Dickey has the perfect treat for fall mornings or afternoons or nights. He's cooking up a storm, making Crockpot apple dump cake. That all sounds real good to me.
It is really good, and I'm most excited about this especially because I always kind of joke, if you bake it, it will come. So if we can bake our way to fall, maybe this will be the
if we bake it, it'll
recipe
come.
for us.
I agree. And it smells very fallish because of the cinnamon that's in there.
My apartment smells great. My car, bringing the Crockpot here, smelled great. So it's definitely ready to bite into this, but we got to make it first.
You promise it's very easy.
It is. It's so easy. Even you can make it.
Even I can do it.
So we'll have you just dump things and prove that you can cook this one for us. So real quick, run through the ingredients. I went with 6 apples, and I did half Granny Smith because I like the tart of it, but I also want Honeycrisp apples, and I did that. I encourage you to pick your favorite apples if you want. And, you know, maybe you want to do a Fuji apple or whatever. You can pick your favorites and go with that there. I just encourage people, Red Delicious apples are a little, you know, bland in my mind. So pick something with a little bit of different flavor with that. So I've got 6 of those diced up real fine. We've got some sugar, some cinnamon, some a half a cup of oats, and then a box of yellow cake mix, which is going to go well. And then we'll have some butter to put on top of it. All of that.
Okay.
Sounds great. So you ready to get started?
Let's go. All
right, here's the first thing we're going to do. We're just going to dump in the apple.
What's in the bottom of this?
I got a little grease in there just to spray my crock pot. You can use a crock pot liner if you want.
Apples out.
And that'll work there. And dump those on in.
All right.
Go ahead and mix them up a little bit to help get that flavor around there.
Okay.
And so we got that going for us. Then what we're going to do is pour the sugar. So just pour that sugar on top and get
all
it nice
of it?
and even. Yep, the whole thing.
Right.
And nice coating in there.
All right.
Yeah, that's perfect. So it almost looks like a little fresh snow in there. Almost.
It does, yeah.
So there we go. If you want to grab that box of cake mix, Kroger has a really great yellow cake mix box here that's really delicious. It fits really well. Good flavor.
Don't have to get too fancy.
Yeah, and they were on sale for $1 this past week since I got there. So do that. If you want to grab that bowl we've got ready for it here.
All of it?
All of it. We're going to just pour it in this bowl actually here. Yeah, we're going to mix 2 things together.
All right.
And then grab those oats that are in front there.
Okay.
And dump those in. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of the cinnamon, just a little bit, about a third of that in there to mix in.
Okay.
If you want to, I'm going to have you use a spoon and mix this up for me real quick.
All right, let's get that all mixed together.
So just, you know, close enough. That's probably good there. It didn't have to be perfect.
All right.
And then the rest of the cinnamon here, I'm just going to sprinkle some of it in there just to give it a little flavor and color all the way through. So that's good.
I feel like this is the foundation for apple pie.
That's exactly right, yeah. So what you do here is, since it's an apple dump cake, what do you think we're going to do with this?
Dump that in.
Dump it right on it. You want to do that or you want me to do that?
I got it.
All right, pour it on top all over there. And if you want to use that spoon there and spread it out nicely, and we'll take the rest of this There you go. Smoothing it out, nice and good. Fills the crock pot, covers the apples, and tastes good. We'll just sprinkle the rest of that in there.
And then comes the butter, I take it?
That's right. And then from here, and if you want, I'll go ahead and let my fingers get dirty. We're just going to take the butter, and I've got it pre-sliced.
You're just going to place them around.
That's right. We just kind of drop them on there.
Okay.
So
a little more strategic with this than just dumping it.
Yeah. But that way, when the butter melts, it'll coat it nicely. And
this is a full stick we're using?
This is a full stick, yes, ma'am. So we've got that on there.
Don't worry about the butter. It's okay.
If you want, you can buy the unsalted or the low-fat butter, but I'm all about going all the way and getting all the good stuff.
All right.
So there we go. All the butter's in there. And then all we need to do is stick the lid on and put it low and slow for about 4 hours.
Okay.
Kind of watch it, and you'll watch it get nice and brown. And this is going to be the finished product here. So I've got it, and I'm going to tilt it so we can hopefully see some
So it basically kind of bakes in the crock pot, really?
It really does. What you want to look for is the powder on top. It will start to, that condensation will help to make it moist and get all of that dry powder to become more cake-like and whatnot. So you get that nice color and that nice flavor that's in there, and the smell too. Oh, this will make your house smell good for days on end.
Yes.
So I think the only thing we're up to do now is we got to eat it, right?
We do. Did you bring us some?
I did.
We're going to do
a little fun with this here, a little fall decor. So what I'm going to do, I think an ice cream scoop is going to work well to help get that out. So I'm just going to go on in and grab a nice scoop. And,
so there's going to be a little crunch in there.
A little bit of a soggy, nice color. I'm going to do that, and I'll put one in this one here. So you can see those apples are nice and cooked.
I top mine off probably with some pecans also.
You could, yeah. I've got a little whipped cream. You want a little whipped cream in there?
A little bit of whipped cream.
Put a dollop there. You can tell it's nice and fresh because the side of that glass is getting a little foggy there. That's all right.
It's nice and warm.
Drop it in. And if I can get that.
All right, we're going to have the recipe for the Crockpot apple dump cake on the Mid-Morning Facebook page.
Yep, it'll be on there. We'll put it on the website. I'm cooking up a storm.
Let me grab a spoon to give it a try real quick. So this kind of is a celebration anyway. Today happens to be the 7th anniversary of the very first Mid-Morning with Aundrea that we recorded. 2011, we recorded our first show.
Well, I take it we are celebrating in style here. So
we're going to break. We'll be back in a moment. That's great. Oh, boy. That is good. Talk about some comfort food.
This is good stuff. Welcome to fall. Hopefully we can.
It is. This tastes great. Don't forget, you can get the recipe on the Facebook page. Enjoy the rest of your day. Yummy, yummy, yummy.